We are going to get started on our next view. We have two left to do. We have the auxiliary view that is going to be projected perpendicular to this top angled face. And we also have the back side to do. Doesn't really matter which one we do first. I think we'll do the back side here since it is very closely related to this front face that we've already done. So that should go pretty quick, real quick, in fact. Um, so let's turn on our construction lines and get to that. If you are looking from the back side, it is primarily a mirror image of this front view here. So why don't we do that? Why don't we just use the mirror command to get going? All right, so I'm going to type in mirror, M-I, enter, and I am going to select all of this stuff. Okay, and I'm going to mirror it about this point right about here so that it is not in the way of this view. I don't want it interfering with that. Okay, so we have got this mirrored image, and that's going to help us out a lot. Obviously, these holes in the front, they all went through. So all of this side geometry, all of this profile right here, this is all right on the money, and these holes on the money. But this line is not part of it. You can trim out that line right away to get things started here. Trim that guy out and then just delete him. He is not visible on the back side. If you wanted to show that edge, that front edge, you could show it as a hidden line. I decided for the purpose of clarity not to have any hidden lines in these views. It's just too much confusion. It's already going to be confusing enough once we get once we get all of this stuff in here. Okay. So what does this thing look like from the back side? Well, that edge that you see up on top is definitely there. That's this edge right up here. So that is going to remain, this whole contour, all of this is going to stay intact. This hole, however, is the top side of this hole is not going to be visible. All right, so that would not be there. Again, you could leave it if you were showing it as hidden lines, but it's not going to be visible because it's going to be covered up by this front face right here and this bottom edge. So let's do that one first. Let's create, or I should say, finish off this this finger up here. All right. This edge comes from this front edge. This leading edge comes from this point right here. I'm going to create a construction line of a different color. So I'm going to take one of these existing construction lines, just copy it, and put it on that point right there. Boom. But I'm going to make it a different color so that it stands out. I'm going over to my, changing from by layer, I'm going to make it yellow so that you can see that better. So that is the dominant corner on this finger. This is the back corner right here, which you see right there. And this face right here is basically solid, okay? This guy right here. So if I take this curve in this hole, I'm going to grab both of them and hit copy, C-O, enter, and copy them from that point to where that yellow construction line I just made is, right there. Boom. You see that face. So there it is. And like I was saying, this hole can now go away. I'll turn off the construction line so that it's a little more clear. So there it is. That curvature right there is this face. Okay. Now, where do its edges go? Well, its one edge is this. It just follows this all the way. But its other edge comes down here. How far down does it go? To right about here. It goes down to right about right there where it connects. We can bring that line across, and I'm going to turn my construction lines back on. And I'm going to take this yellow line. I'm going to keep using that yellow line for all the stuff we do on this back side. I'm going to copy it and bring it down to where this would be. So I'm going to zoom in there and make sure I got it right. So yeah, I got that pretty good. It should technically be right there, right where that point intersects. Interestingly, you can see where the curvature, because of this fillet, begins and where it ends. This construction line is showing the where I have it located here. I'm showing its true center. If I wanted, I think I'm going to move that to the end of the fillet. Yeah, I take that back. I'm going to leave it where it is, and I'm going to zoom back out, and that is where I'm going to have the run out end. So check this out. Remember the run out is the partial curve that indicates a fillet. So I would extend this line down to here, but remember it's got to have some curvature, right? So if I make another line here and I do a 1/8 fillet, between those two. All right, F, enter. Try this one more time. That is not. Oh, that's not big enough. Okay, drag it out more. Let's try it one more time. Didn't have a large enough line segment. There you go. Now remember that these um, runouts are not typically the I am so sorry. I just realized that this is not the 1/8" fillet. Sorry, we had this fillet up here that we already did, and that was, I forgot, that was slightly larger, wasn't it? So that was a 3/16 fillet. So I don't need to redo that one. Never mind. I'm just going to copy this one that we did already over here. So that's easy enough. So C-O, enter, and I'll just bring that guy down because he's already done. And he's going to approximately there, this is an eyeballed thing, remember? So approximately there, we're indicating the, if you wanted to get that right, the bottom of that fillet would have come from, and I'm going to move this down so I get that on the money right there. So that's really where it ought to be. Just bring the bottom of that fillet. This is an eyeballed thing. It's not, this is representational. It's not going to be a dimension 2 because, of course, this is all foreshortened. But yeah, so there you go. Let me turn those construction lines off, and zoom out a little bit. And you can see now what we're talking about here. So basically, just copying this geometry down till the bottom of the fillet, which was right here, lines up with the bottom of the fillet there. There it is. So that is what I'm going off of. And just copied this upper geometry down to here. So that's the end of the first finger. You might be saying, why isn't there a line here? And it's because there was a radius. You know, if we hadn't had a fillet in there, you know, this rounded fillet, there would be a sharp corner and you would have a sharp line like this. But because of the fact that it smooths from one surface into the other, there is no distinct edge. But the fillet indicates that that is what's happening, that it is smoothing, and that is in both directions. It's smoothing upward here. It's also smoothing on its side like that. If there was not a fillet here, you would see an edge like that. So that is the one finger, and then the next finger is done in basically the exact same manner. In fact, we can copy all of this and just drop it down to the right height. So let me turn the construction lines back on. And this time I'm going to move this guy from here to the top there. And this one I'm just going to delete. And I am going to copy this stuff from here down to there. So C-O, enter. Grab these guys. And copying it from that point there down to the yellow line we just made. There it is. And now I can turn my construction lines off. So let's look at the top portion. You can see this upper finger is blocking a little bit of that view of that hole, so we need to trim that out. There you go. And we need to check the length here to see that this fillet did line up with the bottom of that one. So let's do that real quick. We'll come to the bottom of this fillet here and run that across. And the reason it's not is because this one is longer than the other one. So this finger is quite a bit longer than that one. So we do need to adjust for that. So this stuff right here, I would just move it, enter, and I'll just say from that point, and I'll bring it right down to the line. There it is, and then just extend this guy down to there. Right. And I'll want to check the this guy too. So indicating the upper portion, make sure we got that one on the money. So let's do this again. I'm going to move this guy from here to where the run out begins on the upper portion. That is a little tricky. Technically, it would be here. I'm going to say it's at the bottom of this trough right there, at the very bottom. And it's a complex curve that's being portrayed over here, but I believe that is the most accurate way to do that. So I'm gonna hit move, enter, and grab that guy and drag him down to there. There we go. And delete that one. Yeah. So the sides of these definitely overlap here, and that is a little bit part of the confusion, um, for sure. I'm gonna pull this back out of the way. And imagine if we had all the hidden edges being shown here, how sort of confusing this would all be. Pretty wild. As it is, it's kind of confusing enough, really. Anyway, hopefully that makes sense to you, and that's gonna do it for the backside of this.